my friends. Sitting on some steps. And I'm not sure which way to go for a walk today. And there are days like this, because I walk every day, and a lot of times I have the same 6 or 8 routes. And today I'm kind of at an impasse. I don't know which one to take. But I do want to mention that there is a new camera coming. Should be here in a couple days, that shoots 360, and that's going to be a lot of really interesting shots and a more interesting walk, I think. And it will also be a great camera for the range when we go shooting, because it shoots 360. Because what it does is it shoots. You have a camera, and if you turn it sideways, it's got a lens and a lens. Each one is 180. So whatever is in the middle doesn't get recorded. So the selfie stick that you use doesn't show up on the video. It stitches both halves together, and with the software you can choose what camera angle you want to shoot. So if I'm shooting 360, I'm sitting here and a car accident happens across the street, I'll actually have it recorded while I'm talking to the camera. So it will pick up everything, and it's also in a higher quality video, which I'm not sure how that's going to relate to file sizes or not. So I don't think I'm going to use it for the entire length of a walk, but I might splice video from it in with the GoPro video. And it's all going to depend on how long the batteries last and how much editing I have to do. So if I'm going to be walking every day, I don't want to be spending 2 to 3 hours a day editing video. I just don't. I have it down to a science right now where I get back from a walk, I plop it in iMovie, and I can edit an entire walk in minutes. It doesn't really take long. So we'll see what happens with that, but it is going to be fantastic, absolutely good quality, usable video. And the stabilization that it offers is going to be really the key that gets my interest, especially at night. Now, the video quality recording at night is not going to be as good as a professional camera, but it's going to offer about the same quality that I've been uploading, but the added benefit will be has really good AI built into it. It will stabilize it really well, and so I should do a really good job with that, I think. So with that, it should be a really excellent picture quality as far as the camera not shaking around at nighttime. So that should be really good. Plus, it has 2 microphones on it that work much better than this one. And the one on my head also works better than the one that's on my head, which is the good quality camera that you're going to be seeing video from for the rest of this walk when I decide where the hell I'm going. And today it's in the 60s. I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt with a t-shirt on top. Getting to be that time of year, but the next few days it's going to be in the mid to upper 70s, low 80s, so it won't be necessary. But we're right in that in-between time right now. So anyway, without further ado, let's just get on with our walk. I just wanted to tell you some news about a new camera that's coming and the things that it can do, and it'll be nice. And I'm also planning a trip somewhere to actually use it, to break it in. So that should be fun as well. And we're gonna have beautiful weather this weekend. There'll be a place I've not walked yet, and which I will reveal later. So thank you very much for walking with J.Beau and walking with me today. And let's just get on with it. Hello, my friends. Welcome to Walking with J.Beau, an almost daily walking vlog. I was going to do 6 miles today. My back is feeling a little stiff. I'm not feeling optimum. And I couldn't decide which friggin' way I was gonna go. So I'm just gonna walk wherever I end up. Might be the same ground we walk on, it might not be, probably will be. So you'll notice that I recorded an intro. So there are going to be some video changes to the walking videos, which should be interesting. Combining 2 different cameras that are good quality, so should be interesting. I have this camera, the GoPro, mounted on my head today, so I don't feel like carrying a selfie stick, which is fine. I don't always want to carry a selfie stick. So one thing I have noticed is the price of fuel seems to be kind of stagnant at the moment. It's not going up, it's not going down, it's kind of stuck. And what we just saw here, which I didn't have it on camera, but what happened is, you see we got a 4-lane road here. Somebody in that second lane over from me stopped to allow somebody to turn while there were still cars coming on the lane closest to me. And that is a dangerous thing to do. And I know a lot of people think they are being a Christian motorist by doing that, but what they're doing is they're creating a problem. So many people do things like that. I mean, there's literally no reason for somebody to stop there. Hi. So anyway, the camera that I was talking about is a 360 camera, and that should be a lot of fun for a lot of different things, but mainly the best feature of it is the calibration of the gyroscope in it. So you can make it very level, and it has horizontal leveling, and it has stability from shaking. And it's all done with AI. And the sample videos that I watched online were absolutely amazing. It's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to be able to see head-to-toe shots of me walking. Head to toe. I won't have to hold the selfie stick out directly pointing at what I'm filming at. Because it's 360, it doesn't matter how you hold it. And should be a lot of fun. And it gives like an almost a drone-like appearance, because you won't see the selfie stick. It uses magic, ladies and gentlemen. The only complaints I've seen about it is that a couple of people said that it gets hot and it turns off by itself because it overheats, but you can change that setting to not do that, but it's turning off because it is overheating. So that was in 5.7K mode, which I'm probably not going to shoot a lot of video in 5.7K. I'll probably shoot it in 4K. Or I may find a happy medium somewhere in between. I gotta wait till it comes and play with it. But a lot of people don't realize that these high-tech cameras, like the one I have on my head now, they get very hot. When the batteries expire and you take the battery out, I mean, they're so hot that it actually feels like, ooh, man, that's hot, and you wanna let go of it. They get that hot. So the GoPro here has only turned off a handful of times because it got hot, but that was because there was a battery that was going bad and it was overheating. So I don't expect that to be an issue with the new camera. The other thing is I noticed one of the people that said that, they were out in friggin' Nevada somewhere. It was 110 degrees and the sun was out. So it's doing like my Apple iPad does. If I sit out on the porch in the sun on a hot summer day, it turns off because it's too hot. But I never have issues with it turning off from the heat with normal use. So but the main thing that I like about the new camera that's coming is I will be able to get better night video and it won't be shaky. So the night video, I'm not anticipating it to be the absolutely best pro quality video at night. It may have some digital noise, but the video clips I've seen online of people recording in low light, the image quality is stable. It's not jerking around and causing problems like this one can. And you have seen my night videos. I had to find a happy compromise between it seesawing back and forth, which the new camera is not going to do, and having a decent picture quality. So I think we'll get the best of both. And again, it's not going to be like nighttime with the naked eye. There is a 360 camera that this one was designed to compete against, that the nighttime video is absolutely gorgeous and stable, but that camera is also $450 and this one's not. So you get what you pay for. But I guess what I'm saying is, with the one that's coming, you get more than what you paid for the use that I'm going to use it for. I mean, I'm not skydiving, I'm not rock climbing, I'm not climbing a mountainside, I'm just walking. So it should be fine. It should get the job done. So we went down this road before, And we ended up at Garcelon Bog. I don't want to go see Garcelon Bog today. I'm just out for a walk. No big friggin' deal. This used to be a throughway here, and they closed it off and put these rocks here. So now it's like a little dead-end neighborhood. My back is feeling wonky today, but we're gonna walk our way through it, tough it out. I'm wearing a backpack. I have a bottle of water. Now today is 68 degrees. Dew point is 54, relatively low, not as dry as it was yesterday. So So the other good thing with this new camera that's coming is it comes with 2 batteries, which things should when you get them. And I noticed this company that makes this, pretty much everything they make, they put 2 batteries, which is good. And as with these companies, you have to read what you get when you buy something. So ended up having to get the selfie stick that's made for it separately, which is actually a selfie stick by the better company that makes the more expensive version of this, so it's actually a better selfie stick. But they have like the combo package you can buy, and then they have the econo package where you have to buy the accessories anyway, so you don't really save much. But we ended up getting what we need. For about the same price point, more or less. So it's all good. The other thing I'll have to be careful of is the new camera is not waterproof. It's water resistant. It'll be fine in the rain, but I won't use it when it's raining anyway. But it comes with a little protective sleeve that goes over it to protect the 2 lenses that are on it, because if you scratch the lenses you can't replace them, and that's just a fact. So we will be very careful with the lenses. And the GoPro one that's on my head, you need to protect the lens also. But I don't throw things around all over the place. So that's going to be interesting fun. And like I said, I do have a short trip planned. A river trip, or a water trip, I should call it. A trail I've never walked. Runs about 3.5 miles along the river, so that should be fun. Maybe we'll see some Atlantic sturgeon, which have made their way back to Maine. A couple weeks ago they were spotted in a couple of rivers here. If you're not familiar with Atlantic sturgeon, you can look them up if you want. They are ancient, primeval pretty much. They're older than the dinosaurs, and they haven't changed. They have not changed in all that time, and we still get them coming up the rivers here after they disappeared from the rivers here for a long time because of pollution, presumably. Well, they're coming back, so that's really nice. Also, what's really cool about them is they're coming here to spawn like they used to. They spawn like salmon do. And what's good about them is, if you want to find out where caviar comes from, it's the fish eggs from sturgeon. Northern sturgeon, white sturgeon, aka Atlantic sturgeon. Some of them grow to be 200 pounds or more. "14 feet long. So some of the ones in the rivers here are about 10 feet long. They're humongous, and they have armor plating on them. They came back. Isn't that exciting? So hopefully we'll get to see some. I'll keep an eye out on our next river walk, which is coming shortly. And what's interesting about them is when they're little, they have teeth to help them eat what they need to eat to stay alive. And then their teeth fall out as they grow older, and then they never come back. Basically, they are giant sucker fish. And a lot of times you see them because they will jump right out of the water for no reason at all whatsoever. So anyway, you can get these things between 5 and 6 feet long, up to 10 feet, depending on how old they are. And when they're spawning, they'll jump right out of the water. And that's what the local news showed in 4 different rivers here in Maine. And I find that to be very fascinating. So they're back. Now, we have walked this route before. And I am wearing long sleeves today, like I said. So my friends, I'm going to do a selfie view for a couple of minutes. Nothing extraordinary. Using the cheap 4K camera set on 1080p, doing a selfie view. I am starting to sweat a little bit. We get some flowers here on our walk. And physically, I feel a little bit off today, which happens once in a while. I'm sweating more than I should be today, and my stamina feels okay. My back is bothering me a little bit today, and I feel like my vitamins are off. And you'll notice walking with me, once every couple of months, I will feel like I do today. So I'll walk through it, and in about 15-20 minutes I'll feel fine. If it was really hot out today, I'd probably have to sit down and drink some water and recoup, which you usually don't see me do. But today I feel a little off. Which is okay, because it's like I was telling you, you can't be 100% on every time. And I knew I was going to feel like this, because when I was at home I was like, I'm not sure I really feel like walking today. But here we are, we're walking. So we've got these roads that shoot down this way. And when I take this selfie camera out, many people think that I am live streaming. So they want to be a superstar and beep on the way by. So anyway, I just wanted to come on here and say hi. Don't worry about me or anything. This is quite common with me. Every couple of months, I'll have a day where I feel off, is the best way to describe it. I don't feel 100%, and it has to do with my vitamins. Because of celiac disease that I have identified, and I know how to treat it, and I will be fine in a few minutes. But I am sweating more than I did on the last walk. So I will take it easy until I recoup. Alright. Walk on up the hill. Last time we came this way, it was at nighttime. So it may look a little different to you. Gotta get a drink of water. There we go. We'll just hit 2 miles. Like I said, I'm not feeling 100% today. That's where I feel a little bit off. Not really lightheaded. It's not a way to describe it. I'm recouping a little bit right now. Dehydrated a little bit maybe. Drank a lot of coffee. A lot of cola with caffeine in it. So, again, nothing to be alarmed about. I never did find out what this was. Maybe this sign says. Let's see what this sign says over here. We got employee rights. Workers' rights. This is all employee rights on the sign. We got a generator going. We got a generator. That's a broadcast tower for some reason. And there is a water transfer station over here. So this is something you don't see very often when you live around here. The purpose of this tower doesn't really say, but it has to be radio. With security cameras watching the fences, looking at me right now. So we don't know what the hell that's there for. I still haven't found out. And we got these concrete enclosed water containments, which is what those are. They get the same thing at the sewage treatment plant by the river, so it might be a sewerage relay station. I don't know why there is a radio antenna. I don't even know how long that's been here, because we've come through this neighborhood before and I don't recall seeing that. Well, it's there for a reason. That much we do know. Getting my second wind. The lower back muscles are still acting a little squirrely. And you know, it might just be fatigue, you know. I noticed my big toe was a little stiff when I was at the house. You know, and come walking every day should be expected. Tons of pine needles on that roof. That's what I don't like about pine trees. I really do not like pine trees. So basically how that felt while I was just walking, and I'm recovering right now, is it felt like a hot flash of some sort, some kind of hormonal thing. Men don't get menopause, but it felt kind of like that, to be honest with you. Now, celiac disease, you can't absorb all the vitamins from your food that you want to absorb. So you have to take vitamins, you have to supplement, and sometimes I'm just not doing that all the time. I don't focus on it. Oh, I got to take my vitamins, you know what I mean? So I did take some iron. I did take some B12 yesterday with the syringe. So I might be getting a rush from that, because the day after you take vitamins is when your body starts adjusting to it. So I might have upset the apple cart with some B12, which I do need. But good example, like if you take a vitamin today, you won't start feeling the benefits of it until tomorrow or the day after, or both days, gradually, depending what it is. So I took iron day before yesterday, and I took some B12 last night, which is a liquid form underneath my tongue because it absorbs through the bloodstream, and your body starts using that like the next day. So I got a feeling that's what I'm feeling. I know a couple of you watching my walks felt concerned the last time this happened, a couple, 3 months ago, but because I'm not bothered by anything health-wise. But it is human chemistry after all, and some days are better than others. I wasn't having a health episode, as it were. Anything crazy like a stroke or some kind of heart issue. Wasn't anything like that. And I'm feeling okay right now. My lower back is still not 100%. So I definitely going to make this about 5 miles today. Nothing more. In fact, at the intersection up ahead, I'm going to take a right, and I'm going to start heading back. And it'll come out to be just about what I want. Woof, woof, woof. Saw a really funny video earlier today of 2 women being arrested for being belligerent in public. And I think they had been drinking, so they weren't cooperating with the police officers. So the police officers detained them, and she kept saying, "I'm an AG," meaning I'm an attorney general, I'm above the law, I can do what I want, you can't arrest me. So she kept saying, "I'm an AG," and the cop looks at her, said, "Yeah, okay, I don't give a shit," put the handcuffs on her. And it's one of these AGs who have some power, and it runs with these liberals. You know, they feel like they're above the law. It's an older SS Nova, if I'm not mistaken. Might not be an SS, it might be a resto mod. modified. You restore an old car, but you modify it with modern hot rod stuff, because it had the low profile tires, but it had a nice engine in it, which you can get modern olden timey style engines, and that sounded really good, if I'm honest. I just hit 2.5 miles, so if I was doing 6 or 7 today, I'd be taking one of these side streets down that way, head on down that way, but I'm not. I'm going to keep my walk today to how I feel physically today. 5 miles will be fine with me. Tomorrow I will not be wearing long sleeves. It's going to be in the mid-70s. And I'm not even sure I needed long sleeves today at 68 degrees, but there's more sun than what I thought. Actually, there's more sun out right now than there was earlier. Earlier it was cloudy, a little breeze that actually felt cool. And right now it feels like it warmed up a little. Had to scooch down under the bushes. Squirrels over here being crazy. They're being squirrely and doing what squirrels do. So now they ran up the tree, and 2 squirrels that were chasing each other around like crazy. So I didn't know what route I was going to walk today. I didn't know which way I was going to go. And I'm just walking. Across the street. Putting down some brand new road. To the sidewalk over here, which isn't really a sidewalk, kind of a side chute. Hi. Ooh, I did want to talk about something today, something important. Well, we had a mishap here. The mishap we had was an illegal alien. All right, you ready for this? An illegal alien with a driver's permit issued by the state of Maine. A driver permit for an illegal alien, so the illegal alien can go for their license. Now, I was under the impression Maine was not issuing licenses to illegals. So I still need to check out the info on that, but this person had a permit and was an illegal. And why do I mention this? Because the illegal jumped a curb because they come from Africa and they don't know how to drive. Told you guys that. These immigrants here are very dangerous drivers. So this car jumped a curb at Kennedy Park in Lewiston, Maine. You can look this up online. It made the national news or the statewide news. And struck a woman visiting Maine from Massachusetts, a Massachusetts resident. Massachusetts is like a 2.5 hour, 3 hour car drive to Boston. So anyway, she was from Cambridge, 31 years old. The driver of the vehicle was in his 30s also, I think, or early 40s, I forget which. Or vice versa, she might have been in her early 40s and he was in his 30s. Whatever the case, the son of a bitch is here illegally from Africa, Angola to be exact. Jumped the curb and hit the woman. Now the woman was injured. She didn't die right away, but she did die. So this illegal killed her with a car that, in my opinion, he should not have had a driver permit to drive. And in Maine, you cannot drive with a driver's permit. It's not a license. You have to be with a licensed driver who has had their license for a certain amount of time. I don't know what it is, couple years, 5 years. The driver that you are with a driver's permit has to have a clean driving record and has to be insured, and their license has to be valid. So you cannot drive by yourself with a driver permit here. And this person was doing that. Now this woman's dead. Now the interesting part of the story I can't find any info on, and I've searched, is that the Lewiston Police Department here says that they turned him over to ICE. They notified ICE that they had an illegal, and ICE took this guy into custody. This was before the girl died, and they transported him to New Hampshire, to a detainment center in New Hampshire for illegals, which now we know there is an ICE detainment center in New Hampshire, because Maine governor here is an idiot and probably would cause a problem. But New Hampshire is not that far away. So this illegal was transported to that detainment center and scheduled to be deported back to Angola. Now I don't know how that changes because the girl died. That's a death caused by a motor vehicle, and that is a crime: vehicular homicide, intentional or negligent homicide. Point is, he did something irresponsible and killed somebody. So is this person going to just get deported, or are they going to be charged? I'm trying to find out that information, and the media was covering it when the girl wasn't dead, because they were covering it like car accident, Lewiston, Maine, woman injured, ICE has come and detained an illegal. The gall of Donald Trump and his Gestapo. That's how the local media covered it until the girl died. Now they have shut right the fuck up about it, and they're not saying anything. So This is what we're dealing with, folks. And so anyway, that's all I got for you on that. I just wanted to bring that up and discuss that. And when I don't have to see that fucking shit on that flag anymore, on the YWCA, I'll be fucking thrilled. I'll wait for it to come around again. That's the friggin' woke ideology flag on the YWCA. Eliminating racism, empowering women. Empowering women by letting men shower with women. Isn't that the stupidest fucking bullshit ever? There it is. The freaking trans woke ideology flag. Fucking unbelievable. YWCA showing respect for women by having trans women, which are men, showering with women at the YWCA. Equality. Empowering women. What a fucking clown show that is. Anyway, my friends, we shall not obsess on that nonsense. It just pisses me off. Well, I got a good sweat going now. I feel normal. Whatever that was has passed. Again, don't worry about me. There's nothing wrong with me. Perfectly normal. You walk every day. You're not going to be 100% every day. And when you have celiac disease, sometimes your vitamins get a little wonky. And there has been times where I have taken B12 under my tongue. And it's almost like a rush the next day. And you feel kind of like hot flashes. So, because it gives a jolt to your immune system for one thing, and your nervous system. Pretty much the most important vitamin for your immune system is B12 and the other B vitamins. B12, I believe, is aka riboflavin. It's an ingredient that is very difficult for your body to absorb because of stomach acids and digestive system. And your liver stores about 4 to 5 years worth in a normal person. But when you have celiac disease and you're not absorbing B12 from your food in quantities sufficient enough, it's also a vitamin that's not very common. There's some in eggs. If you eat liver, there's plenty of B12 in liver. In fact, before they invented synthetic B12, for people to take artificially. People used to have to eat liver, whether they liked it or not, to get enough B12, not to become B12 deficient and have neurological problems. So I started having neurological problems. That's how I knew I had something wrong. Eventually pinpointed it. That was a good 20 years ago, almost. A little less than. But now I know what it is and I manage it, and everything is fine. Thanks. She looked mad at me because I was crossing and the light was green. I've got the right of way, dadgummit. So we're going to have some nice new interesting video angles. And the selfie stick sticks out almost 45 inches. They have ones that stick out further, but I'm not doing any paragliding or anything like that. I'm sure it'll be nice. I'll definitely get some practice in with it before I take it on an official walk. Test it out on the property and play with the video editing. See what it does and what it doesn't do, and what will give me a headache and what won't. That sort of thing. I don't mean a physical headache. We got 3.5 miles in the books. Rhododendrons are not rhododendronging. These flowers came out early, and they come out at the end of July, and then they go away. So I'm seeing all kinds of indicators that fall is just about to descend on us. Now right now, it has warmed up. It doesn't feel like that dry fall day like we had yesterday. That felt cool and very fall-like. Today there's more humidity in the air, not much, but enough to make it still feel like summer. So, and it is still August, so we are going to have 2-3 days in the mid-80s coming up. Most of them, though, is going to be 75 to 78. Which is typical for this time of year. Although we have had small little heat waves at the end of August in the past, 90 degrees. But summer's on its way out. This would be the time if you're going to go to the beach for the last time. One of these weekends coming up would be it. If you're going to go to the beach to go swimming, if you're just going to go to the beach, well,
you have a way until we get our first snow around Thanksgiving. Last year we had mixed kind of snow amounts. The year before we barely had any. We had more rain. We also had a couple of storms we could have done without, where I went without power both times. Had to use a generator. It was not my favorite thing to do, to be honest with you. Mosey on down the road. Looks like they're still digging up over here. I don't know what kind of business is going in here. A lot of times they'll put a sign telling you what's coming. Nothing. Cut through here. So I also wanted to give you a reminder that Congress will be coming back shortly, which includes the Senate. They've been talking about James Comer on the committee that he's doing and subpoenas that he sent out. He subpoenaed Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, a bunch of other people having to do with Epstein, Bill Barr, former Attorney General, and there's going to be a lot of questions asked. Democrat ones are all going to be angled towards getting Trump, and the Republican ones are going to be angled at getting the truth. And what we're going to find out when this is over is that there's not really going to be anything usable by anybody. That's my prediction. I've researched a lot of this, and most of the stuff is driven by online influencers making things go viral. There was never an Epstein list per se. This is that plant that was closed the other day. Now it's opened up. So there are a lot of innuendos, insinuations, assumed. There's no concrete evidence. And James Comer, not Comey, the FBI idiot that Trump fired, but James Comer, congressman who runs the committee, has demanded all the files from the DOJ, and they're going to be redacted to protect the victims. And already the Democrats are starting, we want them unredacted. We want to see everything unredacted. We can be trusted with the information, they had the gall to say. We would not put the victims through hell. All they want to see is some kind of link to Donald Trump so they can publicize it. That's all they're interested in. And quite frankly, they're not going to get that. Because there's nothing there. But the gall of them to say that, though, we want to see the information for ourselves because we don't trust Pam Bondi and the DOJ. We think they're hiding something. So that automatically tells you it doesn't matter what gets released or what they talk about. The Democrats are going to have a problem with it because they didn't see everything unredacted, and they know they're not going to see everything unredacted, so they're already playing the propaganda game of what are they hiding? They wouldn't let us see them. These are the same people that leaked classified information to CNN, and we're supposed to trust them. Well, the Republicans might be stupid, but they're not fucking stupid. So we're not going to get any of that. And I just hit 4 miles. Oh, look at that. Look at this white cream colored Cooper Mini. Cool little buggies. If you watch Top Gear, you've seen them quite a bit in Europe. You wouldn't think so, but that's from out of state too. You wouldn't think so, but they use a high octane fuel. $91 octane. It's over $4 a gallon. Thanks. Thank you. Now, when a car takes a certain octane recommendation, like mine takes a 87, I'll wait till these people go by. Hi.
Hi.
Like my car takes 87, a Mustang. Now a lot of people have had the misconception, well, I'm going to put a better quality in gas in it because I want to treat my car better. Well, it really doesn't work that way. The octane determines the combustion air-fuel mix ratio, and the computer in your car is geared towards whatever your car is recommended for, which will self-adjust. Let's say if you're up in a mile high in Colorado and the air is thinner, it will self-adjust to take in more air. You got the mass airflow sensor, and you have the air intake temperature, which also affects burn rate. And it takes all this information and it injects the correct amount of fuel to air ratio. So when you introduce the wrong octane, you'll get knocking. Engine knock is when the timing is off with the combustion explosion, and you will physically hear a knock, which is not a good noise, and you don't want to hear that. So, very important to use the correct octane in your vehicle. And you can get away with driving a little bit with the wrong octane if you really have to, for some reason. But repetitive over long periods of time will cause engine damage, specifically to your valves and rods because of knocking, poor timing on the engine. So you'll get carbon deposits where you don't want them, that sort of thing. And how this works is people think when gasoline has a high octane that somehow it burns better. That is a misnomer. That is false. Patently false. The lower the octane, the more flammable the gasoline is, okay? The higher the octane, the more difficult it is to make an explosion in the cylinder. It's made for engines that are high performance, or smaller engines where the compression is set to get more horsepower, which is the case with the Mini, because usually a 4-cylinder engine you'll have 130, 140 horsepower, but with the Coopers you get over 200 with the twin turbo models. So basically you're going to get anywhere from 180 to 230. So it has a higher compression and you need a higher octane because you need a gasoline that allows more gasoline fumes to go in and spark to get more power. So now if you put 87, 89 and 91 octane side by side in a tray and you lit each one, all three of them are going to light up at the same exact speed, same exact way. But when it gets sprayed into a cylinder, that's different. And the other thing that the Cooper Mini uses is direct injection. Because you have multi-port fuel injection, all right, MPFI, and then you have DI, which is direct injection, which is what the best high-performance race cars used a long time ago. That they weren't used commercially, and that's why you get all that crazy horsepower out of a V10 or V12 engine in a Lamborghini or something. Direct injection is perfectly timed and measured and gets shot directly into the cylinder, where a multi-port fuel injection is that the upper air intake and the upper manifold has the fumes already in it, and then your valves will suck into the cylinder the fumes that you need to burn. So with direct injection you don't have that, and you can also be more fuel efficient and you can get more horsepower out of the engine, and it's also less wear and tear on the engine, better performance, and so that's the main benefit, is the higher performance. You step on it, it goes, basically. So, and just to give you an example, when you drive like a Cooper Mini or a Mini Cooper, whatever you want to call it, it is quite the experience, because it always wants to spin its tires. It's very peppy because it's a lightweight car. So that 200 to 230 horsepower is like a bigger car with more horsepower because of the weight to fuel ratio. As the old saying goes, it screams like a raped ape, basically. It feels like it has more pep than my Mustang, just to give you an idea. And it gets better fuel economy. So the Cooper Mini is like 26 miles per gallon highway city and 36 or 38 highway, which is amazing, per gallon. And you know, the gas costs more, but you get better fuel mileage. So it comes out in the wash, basically. All right, my friends, switching over to this camera again. I wanted to have a little bit of selfie today, but I wanted the majority of the walk to be on my hat, which is where it is. So I figured I'd film a couple of segments like this. And I realize it's a little shaky, but because I'm a short distance away, it's tolerable. At least I hope so. But anyway, we're having an interesting day with interesting discussions regardless. And I just wanted to come on and say hi and say thank you for walking with me. And we still have a little ways to go. But it is nice today, and also I just wanted to make sure you knew that we had some different kinds of walks coming up that are going to be fun to watch, I think. I'm going to try to get creative with the new camera, see what we can do with it. And I think it'll be a lot of fun. I do. All right. We're walking on. Digging this road up again. We'll be coming up on 5 miles shortly. Acorns falling, bouncing off the road. You know what I'm in the mood to listen to when I get home and make something to eat? I'm going to listen to some Etta James, one of the best soulful voices in history. I'm going to have a nice coffee after I have a couple of sparkling waters. Another day, another walk. Another walk in the books. Now that's a good example of a 4-cylinder that's not good. That's a putt-putt 4-cylinder. So that's one thing they have really improved on modern technology, is the modern 6-cylinder cars that are sporty do as much as the 8-cylinder used to. And the 4-cylinders perform like a 6. Technology has improved vastly. And a better tuned vehicle is kind of a trade-off where, you know, what really kills an engine is, you know, the damn emissions control stuff. But just fine-tuning the timing and having a finely computer-controlled race car, I mean a car that you can drive that's not a race car, is the closest you're going to get to having a pit crew and a mechanic and technicians to finely tune a car. Because car engines only use about 25% of the energy that's produced, and the rest is through mechanical loss, combustion. They're not very efficient. Electric cars are very efficient. You step on the gas, it's immediate. Which, if that wasn't the case, then electric cars would be useless, because they would not be able to produce enough power to do the same kind of things that gasoline engines do. But internal combustion engines are old technology. It is. And a lot of the reason why it's still around is because it's really cool, it's fun to drive, and but it's mostly money, oil, gas, big money in that, obviously, corporations and stuff, and nobody wants it to go away. But electric is not the answer. You need too much power. You know, especially now where you hear the Trump administration talking about AI and how we need 3/4, which is basically we need 4 times the amount of power that gets generated now with our electricity plants we currently have. We need 4 times as much just for AI. So that doesn't include electric cars being on it. So in other words, we know that's impossible. It's just not going to happen. Every freaking town would have to have a nuclear plant in it or something, you know what I mean? It's just unrealistic. So people are going to have to come to grips with reality on that. What they are doing, though, and it's a good idea, is General Electric is building a plant, and so is Apple. General Electric's going to be building 6. They should get their permits cleared pretty easily with the Trump administration, with the new deregulation from the One Big Beautiful Bill. They'll get those factories up and running, but these factories are going to be building their own power plants. So they're going to be building their own electric generation plants next to the factory, because they're going to need huge amounts of power to do AI and things like that. And that's just mind-blowing, because that's different than anything we've ever seen before in our lifetime. That's going to be the new way of things. We need more electricity, a lot more. Obviously, windmills and fucking solar panels out in a farm field are not going to do it. So that's on its way out too. By default, it just isn't going to provide what they want. So right now, all it's good for is getting politicians rich with insider trading and getting their friends rich. I was listening to Lee Zeldin. He said basically the infrastructure or the Inflation Reduction Act was a giant scam where basically Democrat donors and friends of the politicians were making tons of money. So it didn't really do anything except put solar panels out in fields for people to look at and build some windmills, and the rest of it went into the pockets of their donors and friends. And that is exactly why Trump won the election. So anyways, my friends, take this off my head, and every time I sign off with you, we get a motorcycle. Didn't I say that? Every friggin' time. So anyways, my friends, click like and subscribe, share the content, and say a prayer for Trump and the country. God bless you and your family, and just pray, say a prayer. See you on the next walk, my friends, and as a reminder, we have some interesting walks coming up. So I hope you enjoy that. I know I will. See you soon, my friends. Bye-bye now. Stay safe.